I'm now joined by Austin Wagner from USA Scout as we put a spotlight on that program. Austin, thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Now, USA Scout operates under the motto, it's not about today's glory, it's about the quality of work you put in today that prepares you for the future glory. When you're talking to a player and a parent about your program, how do you set that expectation of what you're looking for in an athlete and what you're looking to instill in them?
Yeah, that's a great question. At USA Scout, we're looking for athletes that are coachable, intensely focused, and interested in playing at the next level. I think if you speak with anyone in our program, they'll tell you that we train harder than anyone. We instill guys. We still instill in guys that practicing hard the right way is the only way to get the leg ups. On athletes across the country. Our goal for players in the program is to get better each day, compete at the highest level, and have a lot of fun while doing it.
There are so many approaches to player development. I mean, you can look at places like Driveline and the way that they'll, kind of break down a guy and how you try to pinpoint something to improve upon for a long stretch of time. Take me inside the USA Scout philosophy when it comes to identifying what a player needs and making sure that you guys address and then specify to get to that next level with whatever that need is.
Yeah, for sure. Player development really over wins and hardware is really what you need to focus on. When looking at a program, seeing how they develop, young athletes. At USA, in my opinion, we have some of the most dedicated and knowledgeable coaches in the area. What I can say is every player is different. So not everybody has the same swing or the same arm action or the same fielding abilities. So what our coaches really look into is, players' mechanics and teaching the fundamentals and really harping on those. We're able to do this with the amount of practice time, that we have at USA, and also the use of our indoor facility that's right by LakePoint, and the great facilities that we practice at LakePoint. One of the big buzzes, around baseball at the moment, is all the metrics, right? The, exit velocity, the spin rate, et cetera. We own the Rhapsody platforms of hitting and pitching, so players are really able to track their development through our program, while using those platforms.
I think one thing with that the players love is not only is it measurable and you can see kind of how you progress during a period of time, but you can also kind of see how do I fit into kind of the bigger picture and measure up against other players across the country. How much do you guys kind of, rely on that to show a guy like, okay, not only are you improving, but, look look where you rank or, in terms of, percentages or whatever in terms of where a player gets from point A to point B.
Yeah, it's huge. It's, it's a proof source, for those guys to say, hey, I'm putting in my work and, improving on my mechanics and, working hard in the weight room and they get to compare their, their stats to, some collegiate or, big league guys and say, hey, I'm progressing up to that. So, I think it's really cool, to see all those metrics and the kids really dig that.
So you mentioned the on-field work and the facility work. I'm always kind of curious how programs kind of balance that out. Certainly you guys have the ability, we'll get into this a little bit more later, but at LakePoint, where you can practice almost year round and you're not really inhibited by the weather. But how do you guys kind of break up that in terms of how much of a focus you put on what happens on the field to what you guys are able to do at the facility?
Yeah, for sure. I think that, there's definitely a balance of both, and being in the indoor, we have a full weight room, in our indoor, so guys that, are at that age where they can start getting in the weight room and getting bigger and stronger. We have that ability there. And then it's huge to be able to get out, on the field, right? For high school guys that are getting ready for, their first tryout, as a high school athlete, being able to get out on the field, and get them ready, is huge. So we try to balance both and it's nice that we're right there by LakePoint with our indoor and still have the great facilities that are close by.
Success can be measured by, wins, losses, banners, rings. It can also be measured by just helping a player get a scholarship or just, finding himself on the field and becoming better over a period of time. What in your mind and in the scope of USA Scout is success?
Yeah, for sure. That's a great question. So, we have a staff of coaches who are really, really encouraging, but we also push our athletes, to be focused, intense, and, and improve on their game, each time they're out there at practice. We really look at, and reflect on two things. So one, is how are we doing developing athletes to prepare them for the next level? And number two, do athletes want to play here? For the last year, I'll tell you that, in our program, our teams can continue to be more competitive, and our organization has doubled in size. So with all that being said, I feel really good about when I'm on the phone, talking about the organization to parents, and even players. I feel real confident telling them that they're going to be at a really good place at USA Scout.
You guys, as I mentioned, and you mentioned, hold your practices at LakePoint Sports. You guys basically get to put your work in on your home court. That's an advantage, obviously, for the weather side of it. But I can't tell you how many times I've watched teams where they're impacted by the turf, be it, a wet field, the way that they might slide over the bag or something like that. How much do you feel like those little nuances of understanding what it takes to play on the turf kind of helps you guys when it becomes game time?
Yeah, for sure. So, practicing at LakePoint, is by far, I think, the best environment to develop ball players. The facility provides us with ample cages, nets, screens, and the perk of not having to deal with rainouts. So with the fields being all turf, we don't have to worry about bad hops or, a field being in really bad shape, that's going to instill bad habits, in guys. So we're able to get quality reps in a timely fashion, and doing it while being at the nicest facility in the Southeast. And to your point, some of the biggest games these guys are going to play, while trying to get to the next level is going to be on turf, whether it's at LakePoint or another facility. So, being at LakePoint and playing big games there, and being able to practice there, I think definitely gives our guys, a leg up. Yeah, because it feels like home, right? It feels like you're protecting your home turf. So, I think it's a huge advantage to practice at LakePoint.
Well, listen, Austin, a pleasure to put a spotlight on USA Scout. Wishing you and the program nothing but the best in 2022.
Awesome. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.